These past few months, everyone seems to have a problem with social media. And since I don't like to be excluded from these type of things, I have come personally with my own version of this criticism. Ladies and gentlemen, I feel like we are back to the white and black era. Except it's not so much as a lack of color, it's more so a lack of nuance. There is not so much of a gray area on the internet. Everyone has a solid opinion, a solid point of view, and no one is open about changing their point of view or listening to the other advice that's around them. And sure, in some things, we don't need to think too much. There isn't so much of a gray area. For example, humans' rights, people's sexualities, things like that. We don't need to think too much. But in other things, well, because if everyone is right and everyone holds the correct opinion, that means that none of us are right. And nobody is willing to hear the other side. It seems that people can't fathom to believe that another point of view can exist, something that they have not experienced personally or lived yet or been around. One example that comes to mind is that one jealousy video that went viral around TikTok where this one girl talks about her problems dealing with jealousy, na 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 na, and everyone was flaming her in the comments. Basically, for anyone that has not seen that video, she basically talks about dealing with jealousy within friendships and how I think she talked about like feeling bad about the jealousy that she's experiencing, and nobody, and I mean nobody, well, there were some people who were nice in the comments, but the vast majority did not give her enough grace. This woman came on here, talked about experiencing normal, totally normal feelings, and everyone was acting as if like she committed a crime. Like the feelings she were experiencing are not valid, which can't be true. I mean, we have all been jealous at one point in our lives, and it will be more surprising if you have never experienced jealousy, in my opinion. And if you read the comments on this video, you would realize how much people take everything at face value and how much they cannot put themselves in a hypothetical situation. Because some of these comments, they are not normal. Someone said, why jealousy and not inspired? What does that even mean? Like, it's like you have never felt emotions before, because for example, there has been many instances where something happened and it makes you mad and you can't control that anger. Like, it's too much, or you start crying and you don't want to cry. It's not easy to transform your emotions. Maybe for you, yeah, it might happen, but for the vast majority, regulating your emotions, it's something that comes with time. And yeah, it's easier said than done. This is literally it. It's easier said than done. There's also a lot of comments that say that it's scary. For example, two people said, this is scary to see from this perspective, and another person said, I find it so scary that you had a friend who was lovely and full of joy and it made you feel like that. What? This is scary? Like, this is scary? It doesn't make any sense. Genuinely, it doesn't make any sense. I do agree that these are considered, negative emotions, but that's what makes us human, in my opinion. Why is it scary? Why is it scary? I feel like anger, jealousy, envy, greed, even, like, as much as they are indeed like, bad or negative feelings, but at the end of the day, they are feelings. We do experience them regardless. And my favorite comment is someone said, "Is this what evil eye is?" Like, if this is, in my opinion, this is just screaming me, me, me. Like, how did you turn a video about someone being vulnerable on the internet and showing true raw emotions into something about yourself? Is this what evil eye is? No, this is not what evil eye is. The problem is there's nothing that justifies these comments because the girl in the video, she did not even have any ill intent behind the video. She did not talk bad about that friend. She did not wish anything bad on them. She was just talking about herself, about her own emotions, and everyone flipped the scripts in the comments. And yeah, you can have your own opinions about the matter, but to completely uh, close it off and say, oh, well, you must be a bad person because you are experiencing these negative emotions, it's wrong. It's lazy, in fact, because this is not a movie, these we are not labels. Okay, this is not a story. Nobody is the main character. There is no good guys and there is no bad guys. Well, you know what? Maybe there are some bad guys in today's world, but we're talking about normal people right now. You're not a good person just because you have these so called positive feelings, and you're not a bad person because you have these so called negative feelings. And first of all, I don't believe nobody experiences negative feelings. I don't believe nobody experiences jealousy, envy, anger, uh, greed. I don't think anyone is immune to these feelings whatsoever. But to be performative about it and that girl's comment section and to lie, this is bad. It's bad. I think someone did call it like the morality Olympics, and it is truly that. You feel like everyone is competing to be a good person, to be that one character in the movie that everyone likes because they do nothing wrong, you know, but it just doesn't work like that. And I feel like by trying to be like morally correct and or like better morally than other people, you do the opposite of that. Like you end up doing the opposite of that because at the end you just start criticizing the people around you and the people you're seeing. Why? Because they're human. And another example of this, and as much as I don't think a lot of people will hear me out on this, celebrities. Now, do celebrities often make some of the most tone deaf remarks? Yes. But do they also deserve grace and a room to grow and ask for forgiveness? Also, yes. Why? Because sometimes even the worst person makes a valid point, and we need to move on. We need to start forgiving people and letting them show us through their actions. We can't always ask for perfect people. That's just not gonna work. I believe this is also why a lot of celebrities don't try to get or don't try to give political takes or social takes because they are afraid of, you know, the public holding them to a certain standard. And, you know, in one way, I get them, but in another way, they should talk regardless. But all it depends. It depends. At the end of the day, it depends. It seems like every few months, a statement will go viral. For example, oh, I hate the taste of waffles, and there will be a long discourse about the statement with two opposing extremes. One, no, waffles taste great, and two, no, waffles taste bad. There is no middle ground. Nobody ever stops and thinks, wait, maybe people don't like the taste of waffles. Or wait, maybe people do actually enjoy the taste of waffles. And by the way, this is what I learned like 2 days ago. It's called the binary thinking or black and white thinking. It's basically the cognitive habit of categorizing complex realities into two opposing extremes, which basically means what we just talked about. You know, everyone is looking for that viral tweet, that viral video of them talking about like a certain topic and being like, no, I don't support, or yes, I do support, just to gain quick views and quick retweets, but nobody wants to actually think about the said statements. Anyway, this is why I think I resonate so much with that one quote that says, people be saying things so definitely. I don't know, man. I think it depends. Yeah, I do think it depends in some cases. And I think everyone should go by this quote because if we don't, then there's no room for people to grow, and soon we're not gonna have any more nuanced takes and no longer any sympathy to be given. But yeah, I think I've said everything I wanted to say today. So, hope you've enjoyed this video and bye.